Alright, so I thought I would make another video just because I take forever to get around to making videos. And as you can see, I don't put a whole lot of effort into them. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about this, okay? Bill Gaede has like very few views, like very few people know about his ideas, and there's even less people that like actually care about his ideas, like take his ideas seriously, which is kind of unfair because like they're probably like some of the most important ideas in history, right? Not to sound like a humanist or a progressive, but these are like a really important set of ideas. Okay, like these are some of the last topics. These are some of the last topics. Anybody who's listening to this, these are some of the last topics that we have to cover in science. Okay, like just like the foundations of physics, the foundations of psychology, the foundations of biology, all kinds of like really foundational topics, like what is philosophy, what is knowledge, what is truth, right? These are some of the last questions that we have to answer, okay? And it's like there's only like three people in the entire world that not only like follow Gaede, but have like actually like written things about it, right? Like I was introduced to these ideas by Michael Huttner, who was like, he was a big fan of Gaede. He actually used to have a YouTube channel, but he's busy. Like he's doing stuff, and it's like I try to find people that will talk about these ideas with me because I can't figure out all this stuff on my own. Like these semantics are like very difficult. These semantics are very subtle, and it's a very complicated system to learn. Okay, and if you're not totally engrossed with Gaede's ideas from the get-go, it's like you're not really going to get the whole thing. You're going to have lots of questions, and you're going to get confused. You're not going to understand what he means when he says that experiments are not objective, right? Or that observation is not objective. Okay, like that's very difficult to understand. And it's like there's only like three people that are like this. Like one of them is like Monkey Mind, and that guy won't talk to me. And then you have Bill, and Bill says that he just doesn't really care about psychology. And like, all right, like I mean, it's not for everyone, but like these ideas are really important to me. Okay, that's why I talk about them. That's why I talk about them so much, is because well, first off, I'm an artist. I'm a writer, and I've always been frustrated with art. I've always been frustrated with writing because I'm a perfectionist. Okay, and I want to understand these things. I want to understand these subjects completely. That's what I've always, my whole life, I've wanted to know. I've always wanted to know these things, and I've spent a considerable amount of time thinking about them very hard. And it's like there's like a few questions that I'm currently working on, and I don't know how to solve these questions. And one of these questions is the question of what is intention. Okay, because I have this idea called completion, and the idea of completion is basically just, whenever you encounter information that's ambiguous, for example, you hear a noise in the closet, right? Your mind will essentially just start filling in the blanks with a series of images. Okay. Now, what I found is that artwork manipulates this process of completion, of completing images with physical interpretations. Okay, so you look at a Dali painting, for example, and there's a lot of ambiguous material in a Dali painting, right? And so you look at that, and your brain tries to make sense of it, and what it does is it basically creates a barrage of fantastical images, and each image will be wired to a particular set of feelings, creating an imaginative high, right? And so in order to create great art, you have to manipulate this process by teasing with ambiguity. But it's not just ambiguity, okay? It's not just ambiguousness that creates this imaginative high. And there's another thing that I call intention, that teases, that kind of creates a contrast between the ambiguity and the intention, right? So like, you look at a Dali painting again, and there's ambiguous material. There's all these weird shapes and forms and stuff, but it also looks like there's something to this, right? There's something, there's like a real authentic world in there, right? With its own history, with its own lore, with its own purpose, right? That all these objects are very purposeful, okay? And I want to know what the heck that is, because like what is intention? I see it everywhere. I see it in, I go to a modern art gallery, and you notice that you'll have like a shoe or like a banana taped to a wall, right? Like a found object, but it'll be like in the middle of a wall. Like it'll be a giant space set aside for this banana or this urinal fountain, right? And so it creates a sense of intention to it, and I don't know what that is. And this is a problem with psychology, is that we have never had rational science before. We've never had this language before. But people have always seen things, okay? Like Sigmund Freud, I don't know if he was a liar or whatever, but we can assume that he saw things, right? Or you look at Sam Vaknin, he talks about narcissism, he talks about the false self or whatever. He doesn't know how to put that into a rational language where he defines everything, but he sees something and he tries to attach words to what he sees, right? And so you got this word, the ego, right? Or you got this, in the case of physics, you got this thing called one-dimensional figure, or in the case of ancient philosophy, you got the world of forms, right? People are seeing something and they don't know how to define these things rationally, right? In fact, they would never even have thought of that, right? And so that's the issue. I'm not just like being completely irrational because I don't know how to put this in the proper language. I want to know what exactly that is, and to define that and to explain that. And I kind of need help. And it's like, I keep asking so many people, and it's like the people that are like interested in Gaede, like they just have no interest in really expanding upon his ideas. And so it's kind of frustrating because I'm kind of left to do this myself, sort of. And like I figured out like quite a few things already. Like I've compiled them into notes in my book. But it's just like it's kind of hard doing this on my own, and I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to say that I kind of need some help, right? And I kind of need someone that kind of gets what I'm saying to help me expand upon this, because I'm not sure if Gaede realizes this, but I've actually like taken a lot of time out really understanding his ideas. Like I've been watching his videos for years. I don't really have a whole lot of confusion about his ideas. There's only like a few areas that he hasn't really talked about that I'm a little bit confused by. Like, for example, like what does he mean by purposes and reasons in the case of philosophy, right? Like, I want to know like stuff like that. I just kind of need some help. All right, and there's this Pixar artist who said that he had some drawing advice, and basically what he was trying to say is, you want to draw more wedge shapes, less oval shapes, because with ovular shapes, your eye just sort of aimlessly moves around the canvas, but with wedge shapes, your eye moves in a particular direction. There's a sense of intention there. Okay, and for some reason we find intention very appealing. Now, when I heard this piece of advice, I started implementing in my own artwork, and my artwork became way better. Okay, it's now like I totally control shape now. Like I totally understand. Like I can't put into words, but I can sense it. Right, I can sense when an object has a sense of intention by its shape. And so it's really weird where like I can manipulate this thing, but I don't know exactly like what it is or what causes it. All right, and I kind of need some help to figure that out. And um, yeah, so that's my part two. Okay, and that's kind of why I need to explain this like empathetic versus antisocial view of psychology, because it's like we first have to establish like what psychology is. We have to establish like, is it even rational to talk about this with pictures? Like, is that rational to like explain schizophrenia with pictures and then presumed feelings, right? Okay, so we have to establish that, and that's the whole point, Gaede. That's the whole point of talking about that view. It's not just because like I have some like lame thought experiment about reading people's minds. Like, I don't really care about that. I don't care about knowledge or predictions or anything like that. So that's the whole purpose. I just want to figure out these last subjects so that I can apply them to the arts and to literature and stuff like that. Because I really need the foundations. I really need the foundations of psychology to understand fiction and understand artwork more completely, right? So that I can create a higher quality end product, right? So that's all I want to say. Now, I just want to say that I was a little bit I might have been a little bit rude in the last videos, kind of saying like, what was it? I was kind of like miming him. I was like, oh, it's just chemicals or whatever. I actually do have a lot of respect for Gaede, and I apologize if I was a little rude. I'm also a little autistic, so that's all I want to say. Thank you guys very much. You have a nice day.